don't let go. Hear the whispers, listen close. I know you've never strayed from the fold.
Subscribers. Today I'm working on a different sort of piece, leveled off my canvas, primed it with black gesso. It is a 24 by 36 Birchwood gallery canvas, and I thought I would try to swipe using the comb today, hoping it works out. Trying just different techniques here just to see if I can get some new effects with this. So I'm going to be using NTWJNJY chameleon colors. They actually don't develop until they go through the drying process, so I'll be anxious to see what it will look like as it does dry. I'm using a blue-green gold and purple or a purple blue-green, a gold red purple, and then a red purple blue. So the combination should be interesting. As you can see, they're not colorful here. They still have just a little bit of a sheen to them of the color, more green than anything else. In any case, I'm also using black by epoxy resin pigment by HTVONT, which I mixed into that resin, and that resin is the Nik Pro this time, 1-to-1 ratio. I just want to coat my canvas with it a little bit and then spread it out and take it down to the sides, and I'll turn some music on in the meantime.
Barely breathing, don't let go. Hear the whispers, listen close. I know you've never strayed from the fold, but that's how freedom begins. Bended knees and broken bones. A bleeding heart never bleeds alone. I am one of many cries. We are far from the ashes. Rise up, break the cage, be the lion, be the storm, be the strike of the lightning. Rise with the dawn, rage like the sun. This is what we came for. Revolution. Burn your bridges, make your choice. Fight your demons, raise your voice. They're only silent if we're making noise. So let the battle begin. Bended knees and broken bones. A bleeding heart never bleeds alone. I am one of many cries. We are far from the ashes. Rise up, break the cage, be the lion, be the storm, be the strike of the lightning. Rise with the dawn, rage like the sun. This is what we came for. Revolution. Rise up, break the cage, be the lion, be the storm, be the strike of the lightning. Rise with the dawn, rage like the sun. This is what we came for. Revolution. Rise up, break the cage, be the lion, be the storm, be the strike of the lightning. Rise with the dawn, rage like the sun. This is what we came for. Revolution.
So as I'm putting the resin down, I'm noticing that it's starting to thicken up a lot faster than I had expected, but the Nik Pro tends to do that. It's got a quicker drying time than the art resin, less resin. But I want to work as quickly as I can, so switching off my gloves, and I am noticing that either my canvas is not leveled, even though I did level it, or it's just not adhering to areas where perhaps the gesso that I put down is a little too thick or not thick enough. But I'm hoping as I do this swipe that some of those will start to dissipate. Just want to take the heat gun to it, warm it up a little bit more, get it to soften a little. As I said, it is rather thick and a little bit tacky here. So just trying to warm it up so that it will flow and fill in those areas that are missing the resin, or where the resin is pulling away from the canvas. It has happened before, and I was able to address it during the drying process. But again, I'm not really sure what's causing that. So if anyone has any input on this, please let me know. I did not prime the back of it in terms of adding resin to it. I did tape off underneath so that it has a cleaner effect to it. So I want to just stir up the that chameleon, and I'm not really sure the colors in the cup right now. Perhaps next time I'll label them. So I'm just going to go in with this first one, and as it's hitting the black canvas with that resin on it, it is that lavender, the purple, gold, blue color to it. And it's really rich looking here, so I'm very excited about this. So I want to go in with this other color and pour it down and see what color I have. I think it may be the green. It is the it's actually the red, purple, gold, and it looks mauve or a rose colored, and it's pairing really well with the purple that I put down initially. So I like that effect. Again, I'm going to attempt to swipe and try to angle it a little bit as I go through with that comb. Now I'm putting down that blue. It is the blue, blue, green, and gold, and that is true to color. It has this real pretty sheen to it, almost glitter-like. So it's very exciting. Love what it's doing here. So I'm really, really glad I'm using this. Again, it's a chameleon mica powder, and it shimmers. As you can, I don't know if you can really tell if the camera's picking it up really well here. And this has more of the gold hue to it. And again, it's pairing really well with the purple, the rose, that blue-green, and now with the gold, with just a hint of the green and purple in there as well. I fear that I may have put that the first stripe down, the first pour down a little bit too close to the edge, and it seems to be running off, and I don't want that to happen. So I think I want to just go over it. Oh, I actually can't tell which one I picked up. It seems I picked up some more of the rose-colored one, but I don't think it'll be too much of a headache or create chaos. So I'll just go in and add some of that purple. I'm going to try again, just swiping it through with the comb, and I think I'll start off on this corner, going straight, and then I want to angle it, almost a leafy pattern, but the colors didn't carry through, at least I don't see them right now. But again, I believe, or I know actually, that these chameleons will take the rich color as they dry. And I love working with the mica powder. It just has a richness to it. With a resin paste, if you were doing an acrylic or a fluid art pour, it's that matte look to it versus the metallics. But when you're using the mica powder, that pigment that's in there just has this depth to it that is really quite vibrant and appealing to the eye. So again, just continuing on with these swipes, trying to kind of veer it off, and the resin is continuing to self-level and fill in those voids, but the colors aren't really coming through to the top part of the canvas. So I just want to continue doing this. and see where it takes us. Love the fingerlings that are going on toward the bottom. I think next time when I do it, I may add that silver. There is a silver. It's a package of 6. So there's a pure silver in there. And I think if I had added that one, it might have added an extra dimension to the composition. But again, just trying something different, something new. I had done a swipe in the acrylic, and I love the effects that has. I have not done a swipe and then angled it, as I did the swipe. I just pretty much ran straight through with it. And I don't know if perhaps next time I'll do that. But in the meantime, I think I'm going to add a little bit more color. I do have a little bit more of the that resin mixture, and here I'm going in with that rose. I mixed up a little bit more rose than the purple. I don't know why. I was measuring it out in that the plastic cup, and I wasn't really paying attention, I suppose. I'm going to take the remnants of what I have left in the cup and just kind of drizzle it along. Maybe it will add another layer, another dimension to the upper quadrant of my birchwood canvas, bringing in those beautiful rich colors. And again, I'm just going to do another layer and another swipe using that comb. So here I'm just going to bring in that blue-green with the gold, and again, just drizzling in it just to see what great magic can happen as this develops. Sort of going for impressionism or impressionistic art, surrealism of sorts, reminiscent of Van Gogh's Starry Night, or not so much because I do not have the rich blue and the vibrant gold in that, but I just love experimenting with the resin art and the different colors. The resin pastes, which I use frequently, I like those. They have a smoother consistency when you're mixing them in. With the mica powder, sometimes there's a little bit of residue left, but that actually gets absorbed by the resin, so it's not a great, deterrent not to use it. As I said, the mica powder is actually really, really rich in its development. So I just want to continue swiping and taking it again to another level. I think I want to tilt probably at the end, because again, the corners or the edge, one edge is not taking the resin, and I'm not really sure why that's happening. But let's continue on and see what happens. I'm going to turn the music on once again. Enjoy.
Barely breathing, don't let go. Hear the whispers, listen close. I know you've never strayed from the fold, but that's how freedom begins. Bended knees and broken bones, a bleeding heart never bleeds alone. I am one of many cries. We are far from the ashes. Rise up, break the cage, be the lion, be the storm, be the strike of the lightning. Rise with the dawn, rage like the sun. This is what we came for. Revolution. Burn your bridges, make your choice. Fight your demons, raise your voice. They're only silent if we're making noise. So let the battle begin. Bended knees and broken bones, a bleeding heart never bleeds alone. I am one of many cries. We are far from the ashes. Rise up, break the cage, be the lion, be the storm, be the strike of the lightning. Rise with the dawn, rage like the sun. This is what we came for.
decided to do was to put the larger comb away and then use the serrated tool, which was smaller, and create just a different sort of feel to this and leaving some of the colors. I want to tilt it a little bit just to see if I can expand some of it. I don't want to get rid of all the resin, but I'm trying to see if there's a way that I can get that edge to cover, or get that edge covered with the resin. I'm not really sure if it will work, and if not, I'll just check in on it every few minutes to see. But I love the expansion that's going on, a real beautiful fingerling effect at the bottom, and it's kind of commingling the colors, and I'm okay with that. The colors are a little bit more pronounced in the lower quadrant closest to you. I did torch out some additional bubbles, and there are a great many more forming, and I'll address those as well. I want to make sure that it's still balanced. It seems that my cones are shifting, and I fear that that may be contributing to the overall flow of that resin. And part of it could be the atmosphere right now as well. It's rather breezy today, and I'm not really sure if that really has an impact on the resin, or it's just the way I angled the canvas, or again, just the way that I poured down the gesso and primed the canvas with it. I'm tempted to actually not prime the next canvas, leave it on the birchwood side, and perhaps just do a black resin pour on it. But my intention here in covering it with the gesso was to eliminate the that natural grainy effect of the wood. I did not want that to come through, but again, I'm not really sure. I may try it just to see what happens. So I want to take the heat onto it and warm it up once again. It is, as I said, getting rather tacky. The drying time has been decreased, and I think it's because of the humidity and perhaps so much of the wind that is really fierce today. But I love what's going on in that lower portion. It is actually quite vibrant. So I'm going to just turn on some music and continue on.
Barely breathing, don't let go. Hear the whispers, listen close. I know you've never strayed from the fold, but that's how freedom begins. Bended knees and broken bones, a bleeding heart never bleeds alone. I am one of many cries. We are far from the ashes. Rise up, break the cage, be the lion, be the storm, be the strike of the lightning. Rise with the dawn, rage like the sun. This is what we came for. Revolution. Burn your bridges, make your choice. Fight your demons, raise your voice.
Right, so I'm noticing that the canvas is still not taking the resin, and you can see it in those dimples, or that dimple effect. So I'm going to add a little bit more resin just to see if perhaps it was lacking the resin, or I needed more. I did not mix enough of the black, and I think next time I may just do more. But I don't think the clear will have an adverse effect here on the composition. We'll see. As I said, as it dries, I think we'll be pleasantly surprised. Or at least I hope we'll be pleasantly surprised. I may have to think it through again as it dries, and perhaps take it to another level. I'm thinking of perhaps some crushed glass, just picking up some of those beautiful, beautiful colors. They're so rich. I'm not really sure if the camera's picking it up, but I will take you in for a close-up so you can see what's going on, and the colors that are coming through are really, really pretty. It is shifting, shape-shifting. Love that rose and that blue-green. Thank you so much for joining me. Be good to one another and yourselves.
Barely breathing, don't let go. Hear the whispers, listen close. I know you've never strayed from the fold, but that's how freedom begins.